حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. قال الله تعالى في كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم: وعباد الرحمن الذين يمشون على الأرض هونا وإذا خاطبهم الجاهلون قالوا سلاما. For your a'mal to be accepted, for your blessings, send a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali. One of the greatest trials and tests that people face in life, they are not necessarily tests with God in terms of their prayers and in terms of their fasting and their hajj and their religiosity, but they are tests with other people. Sometimes there are other people that could destroy your life for you. There are other people that could insult you. There are other people that could harass you and abuse you and bully you. And this becomes a test for some people. Some people, this is what bothers them in life. It's not their relationship with God. They have everything is good, everything is clear. But their problem in life is when it comes to other people's insults, other people's harassment and abuse, intimidations. And we see that many of the righteous people, this is their test in life. You go and you look at the prophets of Allah, the Anbiya, they were harassed. They're a prophet of God, but they were harassed and abused and assaulted, and sometimes physically assaulted, and many times verbally assaulted. Allah says in the Quran that Bani Israel, they used to kill the prophets. Allah says, لَقَدْ in Surah Al-Ma'idah, verse 70, لَقَدْ أَخَذْنَا مِيثَاقَ بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ وَأَرْسَلْنَا إِلَيْهِمْ رُسُلًا كُلَّمَا جَاءَهُمْ رَسُولٌ بِمَا لَا تَهْوَى أَنفُسُهُمْ فَرِيقًا كَذَّبُوا وَفَرِيقًا يَقْتُلُونَ. One group of people, they would reject them, كَذَّبُوا. They would accuse them of being liars. And another group, they would kill. They would kill them. And we see that this is something that is very common. This is something that has been ongoing, where groups of people, the mu'mineen, the believers, they have been assaulted and abused. Allah says in the Quran, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ أَجْرَمُوا كَانُوا مِنَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا يَضْحَكُونَ وَإِذَا مَرُّوا بِهِمْ يَتَغَامَزُونَ. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ أَجْرَمُوا, the kuffar, they make fun of the believers. They make fun of them, they insult them, they give them names, bad calling names, and they make fun of them and they laugh at them. And also, we see that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi was also subject to these harassments. Rasulullah, he used to be physically attacked. They used to throw rocks and stones and trash at him at times. And they started resorting to also, he used to be verbally assaulted, and they started resorting to physical assault. But of course, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, Allah shows us that God was the number one supporter of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa. And this is a lesson for us, that if we are going through difficulties in life, know that God has your back. Know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching you, and Allah will protect you. But you just have to have that faith that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect. Allah says in the Quran, قَدْ نَعْلَمْ إِنَّهُ لَيَحْزُنُكَ الَّذِي يَقُولُونَ. Allah says, we know these harassments and these verbal assaults, this breaks your heart. فَإِنَّهُمْ لَا يُكَذِّبُونَكَ وَلَكِنَّ الظَّالِمِينَ بِآيَاتِ اللَّهِ يَجْحَدُونَ. It's not just you as a person they're attacking. They're attacking the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَقَدْ كُذِّبَتْ رُسُلٌ مِّن قَبْلِكَ. But before you, O Rasulullah, many other prophets were assaulted, harassed, and abused. فَصَبَرُوا عَلَى مَا كذبوا وأوذوا حتى أتاهم نصرنا. But they were patient for the accusations, for the assaults, until the victory from Allah came to them. In another verse, Allah tells the Prophet, وَلَقَدْ نَعْلَمْ أَنَّكَ يُضِيقُ صَدْرُكَ بِمَا يَقُولُونَ. We know that the words that they say, the assaults that they have, this hurts your feeling. This really hurts you. And then Allah tells him, فَسَبِّحْ بِحَمْدِ رَبِّكَ وَكُمْ مِنَ السَّاجِدِينَ. If you want God to support you, then do tasbih, do praise, hamd. Say Alhamdulillah wa kum min as-sajidin, and be from those who do sujood to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Prostrate to God, and when you prostrate, that will help you and support you. Now, my dear brothers and sisters, the Quran and the religion of Islam is not just a book of laws where pray, fast, go to Hajj. This is the rules of what we need to do. The religion of Islam is a religion of morality. The religion of Islam is a religion of ethics. The religion of Islam is a religion of akhlaq. Teaches us how to deal with one another, how to converse with one another. Sometimes it teaches me how to deal with difficult people. If someone is harassing me, if someone's abusing me, if someone's assaulting me, what should I be? What should I do? What is my role? Because the religion of Islam is a religion to live by. And the akhlaq of a believer, the manners of a believer, they define who you are as a person. This is why Rasulullah, he says, إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. Verily, the reason why I was sent was so that I could increase and enhance the greatness of the akhlaq, the great manners of people in society. And we see that as Muslims, the religion of Islam teaches us to fix our akhlaq, to smile in the face of others, to be kind, to say salam, to mend the ties, not break the ties. There are some people, they just want to cause division. They come, you heard what this person was saying about you, you heard what that person was saying. They come and they try to destroy relationships. Islam teaches us that that is one of the greatest acts of sinning. Someone who does namima, someone who comes and tells other people, you heard what they were talking about you, or someone who does gossip, ghiba, backbiting. These are all acts of sin, and they are great sins. In fact, Allah says that shaitan, his job is to cause division and sow division in society. He tries to sow division between a husband and a wife, between brothers, between a father and a son, between neighbors, between friends, community members. إِنَّمَا يُرِيدُ الشَّيْطَانُ أَن يُوقِعَ بَيْنَكُمُ الْعَدَاوَةَ وَالْبَغْضَاءَ. Allah says shaitan, he tries to create animosity between people. And the religion of Islam tries to create love and a healthy relationship. Because at the end of the day, our religion teaches us that we are all equal. Today, in many societies, you see divisions based upon race, based upon income, based upon nationality, based upon what passport you're carrying. Two people, one person has a passport, the other doesn't. You see, this person is treated in one way, another is treated in another way. Based on religion, these are all wrong. These are all wrong. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّا خَلَقْنَاكُم مِّن ذَكَرٍ وَأُنثَى وَجَعَلْنَاكُم شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا إِنَّ أَكْرَمَكُمْ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ أَتْقَاكُمْ. Verily, you have been created from male and female and made into nations and tribes so that you get to know one another, not so that you fight with one another. So now, when we look at the religion of Islam, when we look at the Quran, we see it gives us tips. It gives us a way, a formula, a life plan on how to deal with people. And sometimes dealing with people is the biggest test in life. It's not my relationship with God, it's not my salah, it's not my zakat, it's not my hajj. These, I have no problem with that. Sometimes I'm tested because of people. What this person said to me, how this person was looking at me, how this person treated me in public. And this becomes something that really breaks people. Breaks people. I know some people, they say, you know what, I'm never going to step foot in the masjid. Why? Because people were looking at me. People said something to me. Sometimes people, you find friends or brothers, cousins, they don't talk to one another. Why? Because of the way one was treating one another. And this is haram. This is haram. Allah does not just look at you for your prayers and your worship. Allah looks at you for the words that you utter, for how you deal with other people. Now, how do you deal with difficult people? We look at the religion of Islam, it gives us some tips. We will go through some of these akhlaqi verses in the Quran, these verses of etiquettes and manners and dealing with people, because they're very, very beneficial for us to live a life in dealing with difficult people and also in fixing ourselves, teaching ourselves what are the real akhlaq of the religion of Islam. One, if someone is speaking to you in an ill way, someone speaking to you in a bad way, the religion of Islam says you have to reciprocate with salam. Reciprocate in a peaceful manner. Don't escalate the problems. Allah says in the Quran, describing the mu'mineen, the ibad, وَعِبَادُ الرَّحْمَنِ الَّذِينَ يَمْشُونَ عَلَى الْأَرْضِ هَوْنًا وَإِذَا خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ قَالُوا سَلَامًا. The ibad of the Rahman, the real servants of the Rahman, يَمْشُونَ عَلَى الْأَرْضِ هَوْنًا. When they walk with humility. They walk with humbleness. They don't see that they're better than other people. وَإِذَا خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ. And when someone who's a jahil, someone who's ignorant, they come and they say something trying to put them down, قَالُوا سَلَامًا. Salam is the motto of Islam. Every time we see one another, the first thing that we have to say is Salamu alaikum. Say salam. And live a lifestyle of salam, meaning a lifestyle of peace. And this is what the religion of Islam teaches us. Sometimes people unknowingly, they insult you. Sometimes people unknowingly, they hurt your feelings. They do things that upset you. This happens all the time. Maybe you're driving and someone comes and cuts you off. Maybe it was on accident. Maybe something happened. But you see some people, right away, they just want to start fighting with everyone. They start throwing things. They start cursing. And they get very angry. You have to calm down. وَعِبَادُ الرَّحْمَنِ الَّذِينَ يَمْشُونَ عَلَى الْأَرْضِ هَوْنًا. When they walk with humbleness. It's okay. وَإِذَا خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ قَالُوا سَلَامًا. And when someone else is talking to them in a demeaning way, they reciprocate with salam. Because we don't always know what is exactly in the hearts of other people. Allah says, اجتنبوا كثيرا من الظن إن بعض الظن إثم. Do not always assume the worst in people. The hadith says that a mu'min gives another mu'min 70 excuses. 70 excuses. Meaning someone, for example, they walked by me, they didn't say salam. They walked by me, they looked at me in a way. Maybe this person had a stomach ache. Maybe this person had a problem. Maybe this person was busy. Something was occupying their mind. Give them excuses. And here we see Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi and the Ahlul Bayt. This is their akhlaq. This is where their akhlaq shines. It is said that one day Rasulullah, he was helping out a lady in Mecca, and she didn't know this was Rasulullah. She didn't know this was Prophet Muhammad. He was helping out this lady, and this is in Mecca. So she sees him. Ahsantum, thank you. She sees him, and he helps her out. She sees he's young. So she tells him, after he helps her out, she tells him, I saw that you helped me. And I wanted to thank you. I wanted to show appreciation to you for what you did. But I don't have money to give you. I'm an old lady. I don't have anything to give you. But I have a piece of advice I want to give you. He tells her what? She tells him, there's this lunatic. There's this crazy man. His name is Muhammad. He's going around telling people I'm a prophet and follow me and believe in me as the prophet of God. Be careful from him. I saw that you're a good person, so I'm giving you this advice. Be careful from him. Rasulullah tells her, I am Muhammad. And what have they told you about me? This is who I am. This is what my religion teaches me, to take care of people. She tells him, you're Muhammad? He tells her, yes. She says, then I bear witness that you're a messenger of God. I bear witness that you're a prophet of God. Because this is the akhlaq of a righteous person. And through your akhlaq, through your good manners, through وَإِذَا خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ قَالُوا سَلَامًا. When someone says something bad to them, they say salam. They try to de-escalate the problems. Another very important lesson, tip from the Quran. The first is to say salam. The second is to not get angry immediately. There's some of us, sometimes we get angry very quickly. Very quickly we get angry and we become upset. And anger is, it ends up hurting everyone. If someone gets angry frequently in the family, they end up hurting the other people. And who's the number one person that they hurt? Themselves. Because sometimes you work so hard, you try to build something, you try to build a good relationship. With 1 minute of anger, it could burn all the bridges. It could burn and destroy everything that it took you a lifetime to build. No one wants to be around an angry person. No one wants to be, even this person is kind, smiling their whole time, but sometimes this person, they just suddenly blow up. And when someone is like that, people don't want to risk it. No one wants to risk being around that person. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes the mu'mineen in the Quran, الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ فِي السَّرَّاءِ وَالضَّرَّاءِ وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظِ. Allah says the mu'mineen, they're those who give in easy times and difficult times. That's one. But another point in dealing with people is وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظِ. What does كَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظ mean? It means those who bring down their anger. If someone upset me, someone said to me something, you try to control your anger. And this is not easy. Control your anger is not easy because sometimes it's out of control. Sometimes it needs exercise. It needs you to work on it. But look at the Imams of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Look at the Imams of the Ahlul Bayt. Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam. One day he goes to the masjid and he's praying. And as he is leaving the masjid, a man comes to him and he tells him, they call you Zayn al-Abidin? They call you the adornment of the worshippers? Anta shaynul abidin. You are the worst of the worshippers. And then he begins to curse and use all of the foul language to Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam. Imam Zayn al-Abidin did not hurt a fly. Imam Zayn al-Abidin did not hurt anything. He was a man who was so peaceful, a man who was loved and appreciated by everyone. Even some of those people who did not like Imam Ali, they loved Imam Zayn al-Abidin, his grandson. But look, this man, he comes to him and he begins to curse at him. And then the Imam, alayhi salam, he smiles. And sometimes when someone angers you, don't respond back very quickly. Give it some time. Give it some time. Think about it. The Imam, he takes a few moments, he smiles, and then he tells him, I thank you for what you said. Because if what you said is true about me, then thank you for bringing me awareness to that. And I ask Allah to forgive me if what you said is the truth. And if what you said is not the truth, then I ask Allah to forgive you. The man began to cry. The man, he saw, look, he was just trying to harass and abuse and bully and assault the Imam. Look how the Imam reciprocated. Then the Imam, he said, Ashhadu annaka ibn Rasulullah. I bear witness that you are from the progeny. You are the grandson of Rasulullah. And then the man said, no, you are perfect. Nothing that I said applies to you. I was given money. I was offered 1,000 dinars. They told me, go and try to anger Zayn al-Abidin. If you anger him, We will give you the money. The Imam, he smiles. He tells him, you don't need to do that. If you need money, come to us and we will give you. And he orders for them to give him. He orders for them to give him money. This is the akhlaq of Imam Zain al-Abidin. First, وَإِذَا خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ قَالُوا سَلَامًا. And second, and the second, الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ فِي السَّرَّاءِ وَالضَّرَّاءِ وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظِ. And those who control their anger. كَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظِ. Imam al-Kazim alayhi salam, his name is al-Kazim because كَظْمِ الْغَيْظِ. It means the one who's able to control their emotions. And this is a very serious issue. And then right after, وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ. And those who forgive other people. This is also a very important quality in the religion of Islam in dealing with difficult people. First, you say salam. You try to de-escalate. And then you bring down your anger. And third, try to forgive other people. This is what the religion of Islam teaches us. Try to forgive. Now, who do I have to forgive? Forgive those people when it comes to a personal issue. We're not saying forgive someone who's the enemy of God and the one who's the enemy of the Prophet and the enemy of the Ahl Bayt. No, these people deserve the la'na from Allah, meaning they deserve less mercy from Allah. However, someone who, it's a personal issue, especially if you're both mu'mineen, you're both believers, you're both Muslim, then it's not worth causing a problem. وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ وَاللَّهُ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. Allah loves those who do ihsan. And one of the greatest ways of doing ihsan, doing a favor to another person, is by forgiving them. In another verse, Allah says in the Quran, خُذِ الْعَفْوَ وَأْمُرْ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَأَعْرِضْ عَنِ الْجَاهِلِينَ. خُذِ الْعَفْوَ, meaning if someone came and gave you an excuse, take it from them. Don't come and say, you know what, no, this person this and that. Try to accept the excuse of other people. خُذِ الْعَفْوَ وَأْمُرْ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَأَعْرِضْ عَنِ الْجَاهِلِينَ. And enjoin the good and leave the jahilin. Don't spend too much time with people who are toxic. Don't spend too much time with people who are only harassing you and abusing you. Yes, sometimes you have to draw a line. Islam doesn't tell me, oh, this person is destructive and this person is constantly harassing me and abusing me and I have to always go and be smiling. And no, also don't do that. Draw the perimeter. Don't allow people to overstep. But when it's personal, then you could also forgive. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa forgave Quraysh, the people of Mecca. Rasulullah conquered Mecca and they all came. One of them was Hamza. One of them was Wahshi, the one who killed Hamza, the uncle of the Prophet. Wahshi, he came, he wanted to join Islam. Some of those people who were waging wars, the battle of Badr and Uhud and Ahzab, they waged it against the Prophet. Now they come and they're under the mercy of the Prophet. Now the Prophet is the more powerful person. He tells them, what should I do? They tell him, Akhun Kareem, wabnu Akhin Kareem. You are our brother now. They remembered Rasulullah is their brother. Rasulullah is from the same family, tribe as them. He tells them, I will tell you what Yusuf told his brothers. لا تثريب عليكم اليوم اذهبوا فأنتم الطلقاء. Go. I have nothing, no grudges. I don't hold anything in my heart against you. And he tells them, go, you're all free. Abu Sufyan and Muawiyah and these individuals, Wahshi, these individuals who were fighting the Prophet, they were in all the battles against the Prophet. Rasulullah tells them, go. This is the akhlaq of Islam. Another very important lesson in dealing with difficult people is that if someone did an act of injustice against you, does this mean that you should do the same against them? No. Now someone might say, why? They did something to me, I should do. Now yes, we have a ruling, al-aynu bil-ayn was-sinnu bis-sin, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But sometimes, maybe the act of injustice was different. We should not stoop down to the level of the oppressors, to the level of those who are the wrongdoers. Allah loves those who are above. Allah says in the Quran, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا كُونُوا قَوَّامِينَ لِلَّهِ شُهَدَاءَ بِالْقِسْطِ وَلَا يَجْرِمَنَّكُمْ شَنَآنُ قَوْمٍ عَلَىٰ أَنْ لَا تَعْدِلُوا اعْدِلُوا هُوَ أَقْرَبُ لِلتَّقْوَى. Allah says, apply justice, even with people who are bad. Say, for example, someone came and stole something from you. Someone is your enemy. You don't like this person. Now, some people, they apply justice only to the people they like. But if someone they don't like, someone who they have a different point of view with, they don't apply justice to this person. Then they go over all of this person's rights, not giving this person a single right. That's also wrong. Allah says, "Ya la yajrimannakum shana'anu qawmin ala an la ta'dilu." Do not allow the evils of certain people to take away the adala from you. You should always apply justice to the good person and to the bad person. Look at Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib. There were people that were insulting him, but he would apply justice to them. Rasulullah, a man comes and accuses the Prophet of stealing something from him. Another man accuses Imam Ali of stealing the armor from him. Then Imam Ali goes to the judge. Even though he's the head of the government, he goes to the judge. Because he wants to establish justice. He doesn't say, they're wrong and I know for sure that I'm right and I don't need to go to the judge. In another verse, Allah says, وَلَا تَزِرُ وَازِرَةً وِزْرَ أُخْرَى. Maybe someone was difficult with you. Someone was doing something wrong. That doesn't mean that you go and you do the same. You know, in some countries, they have a tribal mentality. Say, for example, someone got in a car accident and they ended up killing the son of a person. Someone's son got killed in a car accident. The tribe of those who were killed, they go and they kill the son of the killer. This is called وَلَا تَزِرُ وَازِرَةً وِزْرَ أُخْرَى. Meaning, this is a crime. This is wrong. But that doesn't mean you go and you do another wrong. It doesn't make it right. And this happens in some tribal villages and tribal countries where people think like that. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi, when he conquered Mecca, one of the companions, the Prophet was marching into Mecca and the people of Mecca, they were all watching. They were just fighting the Muslims just a couple of years ago. Now they're all watching. One of the companions, Sa'd ibn Ubadah, he took the flag of the Muslims and he began to march into Mecca and he began to yell, shout, Al-yawm yawmul malhamah, al-yawm tusbal huramah. Today is the day of bloodshed. Today is the day we're going to take your women as sabaya, as prisoners of war. Rasulullah, as soon as he heard this, he said, no, we don't do this. He gives the flag to Imam Ali. Amir al-Mu'mineen took the flag and he began to say, Al-yawm yawmul marhamah, al-yawm tusanul huramah. Today is the day of rahmah. Today is the day of mercy. Today is the day that the woman will be respected and honored. And this is what Islam did. This is what the religion of Islam brought. But you see, this was embodied by those who followed the real akhlaq of Islam. There were some who claimed to be Muslim. There are some who say they are Muslim, but they did not follow the akhlaq of Islam. After the death of the Prophet, individuals came to power and they started causing the most gruesome and cruel actions in the name of Islam. Who killed Imam al-Hussein? Imam al-Hussein was killed in the name of the Quran and the name of the religion of Islam, the very grandson of the Prophet, by Yazid. The father of Yazid, Muawiyah, he killed so many of the Sahaba, so many of the companions in the name of the religion of Islam. It is said that Muawiyah, when he rebelled against Amir al-Mu'mineen, he set camp in Al-Riqqa, where I believe that was the location of the battle, and the Furat, the Euphrates, passes through there. So the army of Muawiyah, they went and they covered the Furat, meaning not allowing Imam Ali and the people of Imam Ali to have access to the river. So when people saw that Imam Ali reached the Euphrates and they had no place to camp. They were thirsty and they had to camp in the desert. The same thing Yazid did to Imam al-Hussein many years later. They told him, Amr ibn al-As, who was against Imam Ali, he tells Muawiyah, he tells him, you think Ali ibn Abi Talib is going to die out of thirst and let 90,000 people, an army of 90,000 die out of thirst? Muawiyah, he said, we're going to keep them thirsty the same way Uthman died thirsty, as if Imam Ali had anything to do with the murder of Uthman. So Imam Ali, his people, they reach and they see that the army is covering the Furat, the Euphrates, and they can't drink the water. Imam Ali alayhi salam, he stood, and as a general, now here Islam teaches me peace, but peace with those who are at peace with me. But if someone is not at peace, then no, you have to defend yourself. And here it's a life and death issue. Amir al-Mu'mineen, he gave a powerful sermon in Nahj al-Balagha. In one part of it, he says, رَوُّ السُّيُوفَ مِنَ الدِّمَاءِ تَرْوَوُ الْمَاءِ. He says, quench the thirst of the swords with blood, and you will drink the water. And he got them energized. And they say that that night, Amir al-Mu'mineen, he was walking next to the tents of his people, of his companions, and he heard them saying, أَيَمْنَعُنَا الْقَوْمُ مَاءَ الْفُرَاتِ وَفِينَا عَلِيٌّ وَفِينَا الْهُدَى وَفِينَا الصَّلَاةُ وَفِينَا الصِّيَامُ. They were saying they block us from the Ma' al-Furat, and we have Ali, and we have the Huda, we have the guidance, and we have the Salah, and we have the Siyam. أَيَمْنَعُنَا الْقَوْمُ مَاءَ الْفُرَاتِ وَفِينَا الرِّمَاحُ وَفِينَا الْحُجُفُ وَفِينَا عَلِيٌّ لَهُ صَوْلَةٌ إِذَا خَوَّفُوهُ الرَّدَى لَمْ يَخَفْ. They were saying, how could they block us from the Furat when we have Ali ibn Abi Talib with us? And the next day, the camp of Amir al-Mu'mineen, they entered and they were able, within a very short time span, they were able to take over the Furat. Now the army of Muawiyah, they don't have access to the Furat. So some people, they come to Imam Ali, some of his people, they come and they tell him, let's do the same thing that they did to us. They didn't give us water. So now we should not give them water. And the battle will end right away because they're going to die out of thirst. They're going to have to give up. Amir al-Mu'mineen says, we don't do that. He says, give them a part of the Furat and let them have access to drink. Look at the akhlaq of Amir al-Mu'mineen and look at the akhlaq of the enemies of the Ahl al-Bayt. Another very important quality that the Quran teaches us in dealing with difficult people is not to make fun of people. Some people, they have a habit, if I disagree with this person, then I'm going to make fun of this person. I'm going to call this person names. I'm going to curse at this person. I'm going to say many things that are wrong. Allah says in the Quran, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا لَا يَسْخَرْ قَوْمٌ مِّن قَوْمٍ عَسَىٰ أَن يَكُونُوا خَيْرًا مِّنْهُمْ. You don't make fun of people thinking you're better than them. وَلَا نِسَاءَ مِن نِسَاء عَسَىٰ أَن يَكُنَّ خَيْرًا مِّنْهُنْ. And women should not make fun of other women. And then وَلَا تَلْمِزُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ وَلَا تَنَابَزُوا بِالْأَلْقَابِ. And you don't give names to other people. Some people, they just want to give a name. Even though it's not a bad name, but it's a name that that person does not like to be called. They come and they call this person that name. And then Allah says, بِئْسَ الْإِسْمُ الْفُسُوقُ بَعْدَ الْإِيمَانِ وَمَنْ لَمْ يَتُبْ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الظَّالِمُونَ. So here, don't curse at people. In the battle of Siffin, Muawiyah versus Amir al-Mu'mineen, some of the companions of Amir al-Mu'mineen, they were cursing at Muawiyah. They were saying bad words at Muawiyah and the people who were with Muawiyah. Amir al-Mu'mineen heard this and he says, إِنِّي أَكْرَهْ لَكُمْ أَن تَكُونُوا سَبَّابِينَ. He says, I don't want you to be individuals who have foul mouth. He says, say what they're doing. Say what they're doing. There's nothing wrong with that. But to use foul language, that brings you down. And then he says, instead, say, Allahumma hqin dima'ana wa dima'ahum. Instead, do dua. Say, oh Allah, protect our blood and their blood. Meaning, stop the bloodshed. وأصلح ذات بيننا وبينهم, and bring islah, bring peace between us. واهدهم من ضلالتهم, and guide them out of their wrong. This is one point. And the sixth and final point that we'll mention is in dealing with difficult people, sometimes you need to stop that cycle. A bully is going to continue bullying and bullying and bullying. Sometimes you say salam, he's going to continue bullying. You're patient, they're going to continue bullying. You need to stop the cycle. How do you stop the cycle? You go and you punch him in the... Just kidding, no. What you do is you follow what the Quran is saying. What does the Quran say? The Quran says, وَلَا تَسْتَوِي الْحَسَنَةُ وَلَا السَّيِّئَةُ. The good deed is not equal to the bad deed. ادفع بالتي هي أحسن. Repel the evil with what? With good. فإذا الذي بينك وبينه عداوة كأنه ولي حميم. Because it will turn, if you repel evil, reciprocate evil with good, it's going to turn a relationship of animosity into a relationship of love and compassion. And then Allah says, not everyone could do this. This is difficult. وَمَا يُلَقَّاهَا إِلَّا الَّذِينَ صَبَرُوا وَمَا يُلَقَّاهَا إِلَّا ذُو حَظٍّ عَظِيمٍ. Only those who have patience and those who have حظ عظيم, meaning great luck, meaning they're blessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is very difficult. Someone is cursing at you and you come and you reciprocate the same way Imam Zayn al-Abidin did. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi, Imam al-Sadiq, he says, in one of the battles, Ghazwat Dhat al-Riqa', Ghazwat Dhat al-Riqa', the Prophet was out and he was in a valley, and the Muslims, they were separated from the Prophet, and suddenly a flood came. It started to flood. You know, if you've been to these dry countries like right now Arabia, it starts raining, within moments you have a flood. It creates a flood because the earth, it doesn't suck in the water right away. So the Prophet, he was somewhere far from the Muslims, and suddenly it started raining and there was a flood. So the Prophet was separated from the Muslims. And he was washing his clothes or something, he had it hung, and he was laying under a tree. Suddenly one of the enemies comes, he grabs the sword, and he tells the Prophet, who's going to save you from me now? Who's going to save you from me? He has the sword and the Prophet does not have the sword. The hadith says right away, Rasulullah said, Allah, God will save me. As soon as he said Allah, the man, he tripped and he fell. Rasulullah took the sword. Now the man, the hadith says he tripped and fell because Jibreel pushed him. The man fell, the Prophet took the sword, and he tells him, who's going to save you from me? The man, he said, Juduka wa karamuk. He was going to kill the Prophet. But when the Prophet tells him, who's going to save you from me? He tells him, your generosity and your grace. So Allah tells him, go. The man, he says, Ashhadu annaka Rasulullah. I bear witness that you're a messenger of God. He goes to his people who they were fighting, the Muslims. He comes and he tells them, I came back from the most generous and honorable person. He had the chance to kill me after I tried to kill him and I failed. Then he had the chance to kill me and he let me go. My dear brothers and sisters, this is the akhlaq of Islam. If we truly follow the Quran, then we will be guided to a much happier lifestyle for ourselves and in living with other people and dealing with other people. We ask Allah to make us from those who benefit from the Quran. The Quran is full of lessons, morals. We have to try to benefit from them. نسألك اللهم وندعوك باسمك العظيم الأعظم الأعز الأجل الأكرم يا الله يا الله يا رحمن يا رحيم يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلوبنا على دينك. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات. تابع اللهم بيننا وبينهم بالخيرات إنك مجيب الدعوات إنك غافر الخطيئات إنك على كل شيء قدير يا علي يا عظيم يا غفور يا رحيم أنت الرب العظيم الذي ليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع البصير. وهذا شهر عظمته وكرمته وشرفته وفضلته على الشهور، وهو الشهر الذي فرضت صيامه عليه، وهو شهر رمضان الذي أنزلت فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان، وجعلت فيه ليلة القدر وجعلتها خيرا من 1000 شهر. فيا ذا المن ولا يمن عليك، من علي بفكاك رقبتي من النار فيمن تمن عليه، وادخلني الجنة برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. We ask you all to send the reward of Surah Al-Mubarakat Al-Fatiha for all of those who have contributed to these programs and sponsored these programs throughout the holy month of Ramadan. And also, inshallah, Eid, for sure, Friday will be Eid for the followers of Sayyid Fadlallah. So there will be a salah here at 9 a.m. inshallah for the followers of Sayyid Fadlallah. For the other scholars, the muqalladeen of the other scholars, we have to wait. Inshallah, there's a chance that the hilal will be sighted. So we want everyone to try to look for the hilal. It's mustahab to try to look for it. In that case, then the followers of Sayyid Khamenei, the followers of Sayyid Sistani, the followers of all of the other maraji' who have a different view, it will be on Friday as well. And the hilal will be in the sky, so there's a chance of sighting it. If we sight it, everyone will be together. If it is not sighted, then one group will be on Friday and one group will be on Saturday. And inshallah, Allah accepts from you all. The zakat al-fitr, inshallah, I will be repeating this every night. $15 per person. $15 per person. If you know family, if you have people that you know and you want to send the money to them, send it to them. Send it to them. Especially if you're sending it overseas, you want it to arrive by the day of Eid. So send it from now so that it arrives on the day of Eid. If you don't have anyone, you don't know anyone, we're going to put a box here. Then we will, inshallah, send it to whoever we see qualifies for it. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa sallallahu ala